Welcome viewers. So today just I am going to drive to the first story of the ICSE class 10. So it is about the chief settle speech. That is 1786 to 1866. So that is born and also that is lived till 1866. That is. So the chief settle was the leader of the Squamish tribe, very oldest tribe of the America during that time. On the territory of Washington during the time in the 19th century. He was a prominent leader and warrior of his tribe, and he was so popular among his people. Glory of achieving both simultaneously means the leader and also great warrior during that time. And he had a great passion and also emotionally charged speech he had delivered in 1854. That speech he had delivered just before the lands were taken by the white settlers of himself and also his native tribes. I think this speech was quite glorious and also a very outstanding speech that was which he delivered on that occasion. Because then why did he just deliver that speech? He delivered that speech in response to the proposal of the governor during that time. The proposal of the governor to sell out or surrender the lands to the white settlers unconditionally during that times. So that's why Chief Settle rose his voice very ironically and tremendously in order to preserve and protect his own tribe's land rights. He enthusiastically also got mingled with this kind of, dragged into this kind of circumstances in order to save the land rights and also the environmental carefulness and the environmental importance or the values vis-a-vis the both sides. So I think this chief settle speech just he spoke or delivered in the native language, but we think that just it might have been translated into English by Dr. Henry Smith, because he had taken his notes and translated it to English, because as well the readers might get well with that and also be sensible and also comfortable feeling and understanding of that the stories as well. So just I will deliver one aspect and the tremendous qualities out of that. So that is, his life was always guided by the humanitarian aspects, not the destructive elements or destructive aspects. Because he always spoke of the wars very painfully. And he told that both the communities, both the two races, that is the Native Americans or Red Indians and another side the white settlers, that might lead to the just war conflicts or not be turning hostile to each other, because war comes to an just end and the end result, outcome result is quite havoc and also get destruction of life and also the properties. So that's it. He always promotes human welfare and not about promote the wars during that time. So that's it. Another chief settle seemed to be a very spiritual man. That is seemed to be very spiritual. That is called spiritual in the context of he was so sacred of his soil, of his land where he was living, because that was the dwelling house, resting place of his forefathers. That's why the so sacredness of his birthplaces. Another thing he was telling that the culture and the tradition, the heritage, that they have also getting inheritance from there also the forefathers. That is the also the spiritual in context. Another thing they are telling the male persons or the men's just to have the dead, they come just at the middle hour of the night times also, because there are also dreams or the passions or the development for their fellow persons who are alive. And chief settle believes in the transcendence. Transcendence means just the importance of the spiritual over the material aspects. Because that's why spiritual aspects means that is just it was believed by him, or it was only his belief that those are the dead persons, they were also continued to be part of their own life, the significance of their development of their own life. That's why I did not believe that did not believe in the context that there is no death. So there is no death, absolute no death, only the change of the world, just to change into another, just of the world, because they are not they believe in the death, because they did not believe in the death happened. They believe they change this world into another world. So that's why they tell that the ancestors always just keeping in mind the development and the glory of the fellow persons are present now. So all this is about another thing. Just I will tell during that time also, the whites were so powerful and over powerful attitude towards the Native Americans, because when they had the colonies, they so much excited and also ruled them and also control them also as well. So that's why. So the black person did not have any freedom at their own. Their freedom were also reduced. They are constantly oppressed by the white, the settlers. Constantly just oppressed and very pathetic conditions, the suffering they were facing by. So many more things just others we compare that is also the American natives and also the white settlers. White settlers just limiting their powers, all the powers vested in their hands. They were controlling them. So this was the whitest and all the blackest person. So that is called the American natives and white settlers. Another thing is that chief settle just was saying that, so there is no hope of a star which is hovering on the horizon of the native tribes. On the native tribes horizon means there is in the single hope of the star. There is no star of hope, single star of hope, which is hovering on natives horizon. Even the wind also, that is, the wind is also mourns and grim fates follows them. This means the similar situation, just like to a wounded doe is being hunted down. Wounded doe is being hunted down means by the white settlers. They are hunted down. They just a wounded doe. They have to do during that times. So how painful it was, and so he has also admitted that that's after the few many years. So the races will come to an end, and also the white settlers race comes to, but a little bit time will take. But anyhow, sure, just to the perish of the two races simultaneously. But if they share the common fact and the common attitude, then there are some positivity of the developments in the minds of the two races. Another another thing just I will say that is called the chief settle at last also said that at last he has said chief settle that the white men will not be alone. The native tribes, those are dead, means their lands will be full of also the invisible deads of their tribes. Means those are dead, they are not also the powerless. They are also requested the white settlers, requesting them just to execute very kindly treatments towards them, because the dead natives are not powerless, because they can also raise their voice. They have also their dreams for their also fellow persons. So don't consider or estimate them that they are also nothing to work out anything for them. They are not paralyzed. They will also glorify their aspects in the future also. Another thing, just I will just describe it is, that is, the natives, they have told that another thing. Here Chief Settle has given the importance to the also the environmental the aspects. Environmental aspect means he has told that buying and selling of the lands, it is not a matter of fact. I cannot transcend it. I cannot understand well about this, because it is the nature's gift. It is the natural resource. It is the property of our ancestors' blood is connected with that. So there is no relationship between buying and selling. So we should take care of these natural resources. It is not the representation of only the land is definition of a land. It is not the expression or a token of geographical, that is called the field. Means it is a field full of, that is called the sacred bloods with this. Means it is great attachment with our ancestors. So that's why, means he has just feeling very that is called the settling, and also giving his conscience that this affair is unjust and unfair, which is done by the white settlers to the native tribes. So I think many more concern he has, environmental concerns. I think he has also the love and affection towards his own tribes, and he has merely one thing that he has told, just he has come to this position, he has come to this supreme position because he is touched with the nature, valleys, and also the beautiful mountains or magnificent mountains, and the lakes, rivers, nature which is around him. They have played very significant roles also in hiking or in contributing their importance, also giving the chief settle to become just rose up to such powers and the glories. So I think these are the introduction factors. Just I briefly just told that the chief settle just who is deserving for. And another thing he has told at last also, that this unfair means and that is illogical means of the white settlers towards the natives, one day they will come to an end and they will realize their mistakes, and the importance also giving to the environments as well as to the lands, because he treated the lands as the sacred. Even the dust of the land feeling very sacred. Sacredness feeling not only towards the, that is called the ashes of his forefathers, but the sacredness towards the lands where he is living, the resting place. So thank you all. Just have a good day and bye bye to all.